All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We're back to playing deltagreen tonight. We were discussing our angsty teenage years prior to coming on. Some of us were more angsty than others.
I think you could acted on our angst more than others.
Yeah, I think you could probably put money on who was the least angsty and maybe who was the most angsty. I think we could probably see the spectrum. It's pretty obvious.
I think we have a full spectrum here. Yeah.
Yes. And how good people were at sneaking out and whether or not they got caught and all sorts of weird stuff. But anyhow,
it was fun.
We're not. Yeah, it was definitely fun. It was definitely fun. So yeah, we're back at deltagreen. It's been a couple weeks since we played because we had the Gen Con week. Then we had some Warhammer last week, but we did have those 2 sessions in a row. So hopefully everyone remembers everything because we had a lot of story, a lot of stuff popped up in those 2 sessions. We played basically like 5 or 6 hours in the span of 2 weeks, which was pretty intense. So we knocked a huge chunk of the scenario out. I still think we got some time left to explore and figure some stuff out, but hopefully you all looked at your notes. And know where we're at and know exactly what you want to do so we can hit the ground running tonight. So let's do a quick summary and then we'll start. So last time around you were out in the desert. You found a young woman's body in the desert after a weird little exchange where Steven shot Melissa, of course. G-Cell eventually contacted Sheriff Gus's department. He sent a series of crews out there to cordon off the scene, all that kind of stuff. So you all did a really good job. You contacted him. You explained stuff to him. You also didn't tell him about this little camera, memory stick that you all took from the scene that had all sorts of images and stuff. You didn't tell him about that, but you at the very least told him there's a dead body out there. Most of you who are out in the desert, as everybody at Chopra, was very dehydrated, very exhausted. Some of you were seeing things, maybe. So you rode back with various deputies, technicians, etc. You met Chopra back at the staging area. Then you returned to your hotel to rest. I think Chopra, you also sent a request to Lyta Hall, your handler, asking about more information on Project Sorrow. Still haven't gotten a return on that yet. In the morning, all of you, I think that night, I think it was that night, Chopra had a little dream about her motorcycle biker guy. And then in the morning, all of you started going through the memory stick from the camera. And you found that there were dozens of photos of the various missing students. So Emily Hernandez, Jeremy Benton, and all of the other missing hikers, Nick Karras, etc. Some were fairly standard travel photos you would expect from people of that age. But then it kind of got increasingly odd and weird as they started to go off into the Sighing Desert and hike and try to navigate some of the mazes that you all had found as well. And the same cow skull figure that both Price and Carr observed when they were out in the desert was in several of these photos, sometimes alarmingly close next to these students to the point where they have to have seen this thing, and it didn't seem like anybody was reacting. So afterwards, after you woke up that morning, you went to the hospital because the sheriff had contacted you and told you that in the night, Jeremy Benton disappeared. He was the guy who was the only survivor so far, and you had tried to speak with him, but you didn't really get a whole lot out of him, but he had disappeared. Chopra, you stayed outside. You started digging through some of the Congresswoman's details, some public information about the Strategic National Defense Infrastructure Modernization Act, and how the public criticism was about privacy and overreach of privacy, and that apparently Kingman, Arizona, had a site that was in limbo until funding was approved. Inside the hospital, everybody else was kind of digging into a few different things here and there. A couple of you went and checked out some security cameras. Jeremy Benton didn't appear on any of them. Not leaving his room, not outside the hospital, nothing like that. A neighbor across the hall, my favorite character I may have ever done. There's one point he was just like, wait, am I a cop? He was the stupidest guy. He seemed to recall Jeremy conversing with an elderly woman's voice and that he was, quote, going home. Weaver and Inferno, you saw a dark SUV that was surveilling the hospital outside of Jeremy's window. And there was a woman from that vehicle who walked inside the hospital, had a very short conversation with Benton's father, who said that it was just something about vending machines or some throwaway nonsense. Also in the footage, Inferno, you saw a large bird of prey that was perched above Jeremy's window. And Weaver, at one point, you noticed another vehicle pull alongside the SUV and hand over some paper bags and things like that. Outside Chopra, you saw your disappearing, reappearing biker friend, who seemed to complete a drug deal right outside of the hospital with somebody wearing scrubs, which was the word I was struggling with. And afterwards, you all reunited. collected some survival gear, got some water, some cigarettes, some energy drinks, and you headed back to the trailhead because I think your goal is to go back out into the desert. Is that correct?
Yeah, it sounds right.
Like a gurney? Like what? A gurney?
What?
What's a gurney?
What?
Put
an ATV out
saying?
on a Jello feed. Stupidest guy. It became pretty clear.
With the dumpy G's, and that's all anyone can ask for.
I was listening back to that, and like it's funny because like Steven left the conversation relatively fast, but Melissa hung in, and I think Steven realized that like that conversation was just me trolling Melissa. Like that was just me seeing how long I could troll her for.
100%. I love that she kept going back.
She just kept going. She just kept going. Okay, it was fun. I loved it. Rod Wayner.
Oh, God, I love
He's like, was it my grandma? And you're like, I don't know, was it your grandma? Well, no, probably not. We had a falling out.
That's right.
It was the dumbest conversation. I love it.
All right. The police. He took my Jello.
He's like, there's a Jello thief. Oh, goodness. All right. Because Price stole the Jello. He was the one who stole.
He did?
Okay.
Did.
Thief.
With no regrets.
No regrets. All right. So we're going to pick up. We're going to say I think it's about lunchtime or so. You all are in your 4-wheel drive SUV. You've got your survival gear, etc. You are heading out to the staging area. Is that fair, or are you going somewhere else?
I think staging area to start with to make sure we get like a radio and things like that. But
Okay.
we were planning on actually driving the SUV into the desert, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I think we actually already have 2 radios. Trooper has one, and Weaver has the other.
Okay, I didn't know if we turned them in last time we
yeah, technically you turn them in when you leave the site, but I don't know if you guys officially did, so I'm fine to say you still have them. Okay, so one of the things you'll notice, I'll say, as you head out of the Kingman city proper and head north towards where the trail site is that there is a increased presence of deputies throughout the city. So you can see that there's like a car here, a car there, like these loose checkpoint areas. They're not like stopping folks or anything like that, but you can just see there's presence around, which you'd think the missing person, this guy, like where did he go, that kind of thing. So you definitely see that's increased around the area. But otherwise, they don't stop you. You head out the northern road. You go up towards where you can eventually see a series of cars pulled off to the side of the road where some of the still volunteer search teams have parked. Noticeably fewer today than there were the day before and the day before that. But eventually you make it there. You can see your good pal, Ranger Sam Wilson's there with his big old hat. And he's directing folks, handing out some bottles of water, some radios, things like that as you all pull up. You're getting here at like lunchtime, so people have probably already gone out. So there's not that many people here. It's probably just him coordinating. So what do you guys do? What's the idea?
Car will kind of, wherever she's sitting, kind of roll the window down, just kind of wave to Sam.
Oh, hey y'all, how y'all doing now today? Oh, y'all hear the news, I assume? Benton boy. Oh, you haven't heard it?
We have, yeah.
Oh, you have heard it. Okay, yeah. That's just that. Well, ain't that just a mystery, don't you think? And that just kind of. No, anyhow, it's just tragic. And those poor parents.
Doesn't make sense. That's why we're getting a little bit of a late start. We just came from over there.
No, I understand. Okay, sure. Well, y'all look a little burnt from yesterday. Y'all sure it's a good idea to head back out so soon?
So we're actually going to be spending a little less time on foot today.
Are you now? Okay. Well, we don't got any more of the ATVs. Some of the folks got ATVs.
I think we're okay. And she just sort of points down generally to the vehicle because we got like an all-wheel drive.
Oh, okay. Just be careful out there now. This might be all terrain and such and 4-wheel, but terrain can be kind of tricky out there, you know?
We're planning on following all the tracks from the caravan yesterday, so we'll be careful.
Okay, well, you just radio on the in channel 7 if y'all got any problems.
Yep, I appreciate you.
Okay, well, off you go. Wild blue yonder and all that. And he waves. Guys travel off, and where are we headed?
Done driving, so we're trying to get as close as possible to the site that we've seen the satellite pictures of.
Satellite photos. Okay, fair enough. So what I'm going to need is I'm going to need a navigation test. So that's the first thing. Anyone can roll this. You just let me know who wants to roll it. You're welcome to talk about who's got the best chance to make
I've got 52.
Fine.
I have a 50, so Bryce.
Do not look at me.
11.
I have a 16 drive though, so
Same.
I'm
11.
happy to do the drive.
I'll take one of the audience boosts that Griff so kindly gave us.
Okay. Jeff, for full transparency, Griff did also give you a complication.
That's because Griff is a gentleman, a scholar, and wants you all to die. Thank you.
That is 12 under 62.
A giant condor swoops down and lifts a car. I just spent it. There you go.
Taking us to Mordor?
Right into the lava.
Just drops
into that
lava. Whoopsie. Okay. All right. And who's doing the drive? Who's got the highest drive? 60 for Chopra. Anyone have any higher?
73.
So. What?
Oh. From all the pizzas I've delivered.
All right.
He's
all right.
cutting corners.
This guy. Okay.
67. Success.
Okay. That's very good. Okay. I'll tell you this. Compared to yesterday, this trip into the desert is far smooth. Obviously, it's still like the terrain you're following. It's still a little bumpy at times. There's undulating hills, some ridges you have to navigate. This isn't like a straight shot. So you're finding yourselves having to go forward, navigate around, maybe you probably get up on your phones or some of your GPS gear, like topographical looks of things and seeing how best to navigate. There's not roads out here. So a lot of times you're just looking for flat terrain. You can definitely see that there's some larger expanses where you would imagine some of these ATV people might have like kind of carved around. And maybe once or twice you see in the distance a search team. They're moving about. Like there's a couple that are probably on horseback actually, and there's a few that are on ATVs, a few that are on foot. But for the most part, you're just kind of heading out there, and it takes you about 2 hours, in fact, to navigate northward and around all of this different sort of terrain obstruction to get to where you think you're supposed to be. And the reason I say you think is because there are a lot of glitches with the GPS. It is coming and going here and there. There are times in which it just seems to glitch out and does the same thing it did yesterday, and suddenly you're in Mongolia or you're in Antarctica or you're somewhere else. But you do see that there's also longer periods where it seems to be functioning properly. And so after about 2 hours, you find yourselves in this relatively flat expanse. It's west of the reservation. It's sort of the northern portion of the search grid. And you're here. Now you look around, obviously there's no facility. Like you would be able to see it clear as day. Everything's flat, handful of trees, handful of rock formations, but otherwise it's extremely flat. So what do you guys want to do?
Because of the place. Should set up camp somewhere.
This looks in the direction when I kind of saw it shimmering in the distance. Do we want to try to kind of retrace the steps again? And she's thinking back through the photos that we were looking through. And so, if we don't see what we're looking for kind of right here, just, kind of doing a bit more of a search to kind of follow their path kind of based on the pictures that we saw, kind of the additional evidence from yesterday.
So if you're talking about the paths that the hikers took, that's not near this. Like you guys have blown past it to the northeast.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Perhaps we get out and do some searching by foot then. When I was trying to find things before, sometimes just being out, walking, just closing my eyes and kind of being connected to the area, as unscientific as that sounds, seemed to help a bit.
I'll start putting some of the survival bags on my backpack, going for a little hike.
Okay.
I don't know about the weird hippie shit, but I suppose we could go for a walk.
Okay. Anybody who's doing what Carr says and just doing a general search of the area, roll the search test. And anyone can do it. All of you could do it, in fact. You're welcome to all
so many
spend some
boosts. I'm going to go ahead and take one. Thank you, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet crit success.
Ooh.
Oh, look at this guy.
I
Very
failed.
nice.
85 over 51.
Okay.
9 under 63.
Nice.
Okay. So, looks like I've got 2 successes. One of those is a critical success. Let's start with a regular success. So, Carr, we'll say all of you spread out. You kind of do this little grid search. You go by. You still have the photos on you. You still have that dossier. It's not a problem. And you just based on the grounds themselves, you do your best to sort of cordon it off and kind of do a grid search. Carr, at one point in this search, we'll say maybe like 45 minutes in or so, you find what looks like a large metal panel. It's rusted and it's very old. It's probably about like 4 feet by another, maybe like 3 feet or so. It's rusted, especially around the edges. You can see there's rivets and stuff like that have been ripped out. It's not attached to anything. There's some debris that it emits, but some of the other debris is unrecognizable. You're not really sure what it is. It's been so long rusted and it has almost turned to dust in some places. But you see this panel, and when you flip it over, you see on the underside of it there is a drawing, and it looks like a hand. Now it looks like the type of hand drawing that you might see if like a child, like a 5-year-old or something like that, or 3-year-old or whatever, is like drawing their hand in preparation for like maybe turning into like a turkey or whatever. It's kind of got that look to it. So it's fairly small. When you look a little closer, you can see there is like a faded insignia of some kind, and you realize it has a number. And the number is pretty much the only thing you can read, and it just says 12.
Okay. So this is a 4 foot by 3 foot sign. So it's a big sign.
It's not a sign. It's very clearly a metal panel. You think that this might have been used as like a floor panel or a wall panel, something like that, more than likely.
Got it. Okay. And so she'll kind of, anyone who happens to be nearby, she'll just sort of, show this to folks. And she'll, kind of like hold her hand up to compare the size of the hand. And does the number 12 look like it was printed on the panel or like written on by hand?
It looks like a stencil, like if someone was putting a stencil of an insignia or like a command, like spraying it on.
I go over to Carr. Wasn't Operation Quicksand? It's something about M12 facility. They were trying to M12. That's what it was, right? They were trying to determine it exists.
That sounds like it could very well be true. This would be evidence if that were the case. As she's flipping through her notebook, trying to recall that.
It was in the dossier Lyda Hall gave us.
Got it.
It's something about all assets were lost. That must have been that was in the 70s, of course, with Navarro. It's been out here a while.
Certainly very rusted, so it could be decades worth of decay out here.
Okay. Inferno, you got a critical success, right?
Yeah.
2 things. you find as you're like walking around, you almost like accidentally stumble into it as your foot goes over a chunk of ground that just dips. And as it does, you realize that your foot stepped on top of like a metal grate that has been rusted, and you almost snap and go through. And as you pull your foot off, it does eventually snap, and you realize there's this small cubby in the ground, and you can see that in the it's been, like, you would imagine it could have been like it could have been part of like a vent, or it could have been part of just some sort of like sub basement. It's hard to really say. It's filled up with sand now at this point, but you can tell that in it there is a small like lockbox, like a foot locker or a toolbox basically. It is tarnished looking. There's a little bit of red paint flecks left, but overall you're able to pull it out of this like heavy, thick chunk of dirt, and it's still in good shape. It's like well made. It was definitely older than the types of toolboxes you might be able to buy these days. These things were definitely built to last. What do you want to do with it?
Over here, guys. Got something. I'll kick it open, try to pry it open.
Okay. Go ahead and you pry it open. And you notice that inside, there's a little bit of sand that seems to have made it through some of the seams. And you can tell that like there's a top tray for a series of like ratchets and things like that. But when you pull the tray out, underneath the toolbox, there's a handful of things. There is a packet, like a big carton, half empty though, of Kent cigarettes. And you can see like the logo says, "Take a moment for yourself, smooth away the day's troubles." And it's in relatively good condition because it's been hidden within this place. You notice that there are 3 cans of Progressive soup. And you notice that there is a bottle of pills. It's kind of a yellow looking glass bottle. There's no label to them, but it looks like there's tablets of some kind on the inside.
When do we group? I'll offer Price cigarette.
I absolutely take one. It's probably pretty stale, right?
It is stale as can be. Yes, very much so. Very much so.
I immediately put it out and grab one of my own pack and smoke that instead.
Okay. The other thing you notice, Inferno, as we'll say you're on the outskirts, on like the southwestern edge, is you notice that up on a ridgeline, about 200 yards away from you, you see that there are 2 ATVs, like all 4-wheelers, and you can see that there's 2 people up there. One of them has these big heavy duty binoculars, and they're looking, you think, down at you and your crew that are exploring this little area.
Give them a wave. They've seen us already.
Okay, you see they look down, they pull the binoculars down. Both of them climb on top of their ATVs and they start them up, and you see them spin around and they start traveling away from you.
A couple of visitors.
Bryce's hand goes to his gun. He doesn't pull it, but he remembers the ambush from the day before.
You see them. If you point over, you see them. They're driving away, and you see they now disappear over top of this ridge, and they're like heading back in the direction of southwest from here. So that would be like towards the search grid, towards the staging area.
Why don't we go up on that ridge, just see if we can spot them?
Or that Chopra had gone over when Luca called to go look at the box. She's a 40 in craft electrician. Does the toolbox look like just a general toolbox, or is there any way to tell if it was meant for a specific job?
So like whatever was underneath the tray, like there's no extra tools. So everything in the tray at the top is pretty standard stuff. So there's really nothing that probably gleans one way or the other. It's all just simple hand tools.
Got it.
But
Thank you.
that bottom area, there's no tools left. It's just the few things he found.
Okay, thanks.
We load up in the car and try to go after them rather than trying to chase ATVs by foot.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I think they would know something. I'm not just part of the search grid.
Which that's what Weaver goes to confirm, or Davis on when she's speaking to Sam. Hey, do you have two people out on the ATVs over? And she rattles off like the generic coordinates of the area we're in.
So you call back, and it's just like there's no response immediately. It's all very like staticky and soft. And then you hear, Lisa? Is that you? Lisa? Is that you?
Who is this?
Normally when you call people Lisa, it's the person who answers that says, who is this? And you recognize the voice. It's a little crackly, but as the more you talk, it starts to get clearer and clearer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Cody's voice.
Sorry. How are you? How's Jamie?
Jamie's fine. Why do you sound weird? Where are you?
Oh, hiking?
Hiking?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Why are you calling? And what number is this? This just showed up all strange.
I just it's probably a bad time. I'm sorry. And then she tries to like cut the connection like with the walkie.
And you do? Yeah, no problem. And it cuts off.
And you guys watch as she's like, what the actual fuck? And so she tries again.
Yeah.
Did any of the rest of us hear that?
If anyone's standing by, you would have heard her talking to a voice that very much didn't sound like Sam, and you heard that conversation. Sure. Weaver, you try again?
Yeah.
Okay. So who do you call out? You try to turn on 7, and you're like, calling into Sam, and
yeah.
And you hear another familiar voice pop up. And it's like, Lisa, darling, what is it?
Sorry, Aunt
Is
Viv,
something wrong? What's wrong with Jamie? Is something wrong?
No, nothing's wrong. I butt dialed you. I'm so sorry.
Butt dialed? What does that even mean?
My phone was in my pocket, and I had your contact up.
Why does it sound like you're in a sewer?
I think my the connections, and then she again cuts the connection.
Okay.
And then she turns to the rest of you, and she's like, "What the fuck is up with our walkies?"
So you're Lisa?
Never mind
what the
that.
hell was that?
Also,
So
sand test, please.
Yeah.
Crit fail.
Oh dear. It's okay. The max is still only going to be 1 on this, but yeah, go ahead and take the 1.
What type of? This is just.
This would be
never mind.
helplessness.
Okay.
But because it's critical failure, even if you have, I would say still take the 1.
I don't. I just wanted to mark it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think Lisa's really rattled, especially giving this how she kind of left things with Cody, with Jamie. Her aunt is unaware of this shit that's happening. And so you guys kind of watch as she kind of loses her cool a little bit. She goes straight back to the back of the van. She puts all her shit back down and she digs around and she pulls out a whole couple things of cigarettes and she starts to chain smoke. Just kind of aggressively.
Okay. And it is very hot in this desert, and you're now chain smoking, which is compounding that heat. So you and Price are just injecting all that heat into your chest while you're also around you being
Price doesn't say anything, but he is visibly annoyed that you are digging into his cigarettes. When he had those perfectly rationed out. Those are your own, not the couple cartons that he brought.
No, she's her own smoker. You're good.
There may be things that we're not prepared with, but clearly we're not short on cigarettes.
You do not smoke the same brand.
This is deltagreen. Have cigarettes on you. That's how it works. Have cigarettes and booze. And maybe something a little stronger. Okay. So I'm going to say, because of all this, your chances of like chasing after those ATVs is now past you. As like she's gotten on the phone, or she got on this walkie, and that has I'm not saying you couldn't potentially track them, but now it's less about following them and more about trying to track them down if you wanted to. So what's next?
I think Car would probably try to take the walkie, and just sort of doing that thing where you assume that you're going to be able to do something that someone else didn't do effectively. So she's going to like put the channel up to 8, put the channel back to 7, kind of hold it up, try to call in Ranger Sam.
Yes, how y'all doing out there? You doing okay? What team is this? You all? Oh, you must be all them FBI agents. That's right.
Yes, sir. We were just checking to see if you have some ATVs that are out, and she'll.
Oh yeah, all of them are out there. Yeah, sure.
And as Weaver was trying to do, she'll try to give the general kind of coordinates of where we think we are. Like, do you have folks that are this far up this direction?
No one's up there that way. No one's searching out there. You're the only ones up there.
Good to know. Good to know. Thanks, Sam.
Y'all see anything?
We'll let you know if we do.
Nothing at all, huh?
Well, I mean, we were asking if there were any ATVs up here because we just saw a couple.
Did you all see some? Well, hey, don't worry about it too much. There are all plenty of folk around here kind of go out in those areas there, Grand Wash Cliffs and everything. They like to have their fun. You know how it is.
Sure. These folks were a little binocular looking around, being a little looky-loos. So we just wanted to see if that was a part of your cadre.
I can check in. I can check in with the rest of the search party, see if there's someone up your way. Maybe they got lost on the grid, if you want me to do that.
I wouldn't say so. Just, I mean, obviously that'd be concerning if there are folks too far afield. But I mean, you knew where your folks went and it's not up here. So I think you're probably right that, there are folks that live out here and, we've got a whole group of us together. So we don't need to send anybody else out of the way up here. Just wanted to check in with you.
Sure. I get you. Sure. Absolutely. I understand. So click off the radio at that point.
I feel like one of Jeff's favorite things to do in Delta Green is to just draw Melissa into a really long conversation. It's the most random character he can.
Just so fun.
Melissa tries so valiantly to be nice.
She throws herself on the grenade all the time. She always does. Because just in case there's something there. Okay.
Might be a clue at the end of that 10-minute conversation.
I love it so much.
So while Car would be
just kind of looks around and it's not that she didn't hear what happened, but there's just sort of the validation of the walkie is working the way it's supposed to. And she just kind of looks over at where Weaver is and just sort of looks at the walkie. And I mean, we should probably go up the ridge and try to see what direction they went.
I'm imagining that the whole time that you were on the walkie-talkie, Price was going into dad mode, herding dog mode, and getting everyone packed into the car so that we could go up to the ridge. So while Car says we should head up there, I'm just standing with the door open, waiting for you.
Thank you. So get in the car.
Okay. So anybody who you start to head up there, and you're basically looking for signs of these ATVs driving away. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, and
Okay.
While we're up there, might as well just scan the entire horizon.
Okay. Give me like a survival test, maybe, just to see if you can judge by their tracks and just the dust in the air from the ATVs, if you can just sort of triangulate which way they went. So I'll say survival for whoever's doing that.
I got 54.
Okay, that's really good.
All right. I'll take an audience boost.
Okay.
Make it 64.
Oh, yes.
I got a 52 under 64.
Hell yes.
Okay. Like I said, you think they're going southwest. You do see there are some undulating ridges that are probably easier for them than it is for your vehicle, because yours is a proper SUV. Theirs is just ATVs. But you can definitely see a trail of dust kicked up. And so if you wanted to follow them, you probably could. It would take a drive test and such to be careful as you're trying to go over some of these ridges, and if you're trying to do it at a speed where you can catch up with them.
Do we want to try and chase these ATVs down? We're in an SUV, so I don't think we'd really be able to corner them if push comes to shove. Or do we just... Hell, they could
What's
be...
our goal if we catch up with them?
Could be a couple of
Perhaps
backwoods
stop them
boys that
to
don't know
talk to
anything,
them?
or they might be part of
Or they
the
might have
group that
information
ambushed
about
us.
what goes on out here. Like, they seem to know this area better than we do. So at least attempting an interrogation seems like a goal.
You have to chase them.
All right, give me that.
I'll let Chopper drive.
Okay, Chopper, give me a drive
Move at
test.
73. I was thinking you should drive.
I have this toolbox I'm playing with, so go ahead.
Okay,
Long likes to up the stakes.
he does.
He's like, I got a cool thing. I can't be bothered to drive.
54 under 60.
Okay. You're able to navigate down this ridge, which was a little dicey, and then across the flat, and then up over this rocky ridge, following that plume of dust. And as you come up onto the top of the ridge, you see that the ATVs are maybe a quarter mile in the distance. And you can see that they have stopped, that the riders have gotten off of them. And they seem to be standing in this relatively flat area. You can see there's some shrubberies, some desert life and such. And they're one of them looks like maybe has a camera out, and like they're documenting something.
You're gonna hail them.
They're a quarter of a mile away. What does that mean?
Oh, sorry. We're gonna continue to get closer and kind of
Okay.
approach them.
Okay. So you drive down, and when you get up closer to them, when you get maybe within about 100 feet or so, you can see that they seem to be taking pictures of a road sign, just standing in the middle of the desert. You can see that there are two people, both of whom you would probably peg maybe late 30s, early 40s. One of whom looks to be Hispanic male, and he seems to be pretty athletic build, and a slight scruff, not like a full beard, but maybe he just didn't shave in the last couple of days. The other is a young woman. You can see that she's got a camo hat on, and she has like a blondish, like not like super blonde, but kind of a lighter, like kind of auburny kind of color coming out the back, and like a sports kind of ponytail. And both are standing there. The woman has the camera, and she is taking a picture of the sign as you all kind of pull up next to it. There's dust kicking up all over the place. They have gear piled on to some of their ATVs and things like that. And when you see the sign that they are taking a picture of, some of you have seen it before. It says, "No trespassing, private facility." And it is rusted indented and busted and looks identical to the one that you saw on the camera roll or on the memory stick. And you saw Nick Karras was kind of holding it in his hands. Except this one was on a rusted pole in the middle of nowhere.
I'll step out to greet him.
Okay,
Same.
You step out.
I want to take a picture of them and the sign again with the camera that we found.
You want to take a picture of, I'm sorry, say that again?
Of like them and the sign with the camera that we found, just to see if I see anything in the picture that we don't necessarily see.
Oh, I would say that camera is probably not a functional camera. That thing was sitting out in the sun.
Oh, not anymore.
It was more
Got
of the
it, okay.
memory stick. I think that we ended up sort of retconning that a little bit, that you were probably plugging in the next day into your
Gotcha.
laptops.
Okay.
Folks, part of the search crew.
And the guy looks over at you, and then he looks at her, and then she puts the camera down and kind of hangs from her neck a bit, and she's like, yeah, we're just found this strange sign here. That's kind of peculiar up here, isn't it? So yeah.
This is strange. We haven't seen a facility out here.
No, we haven't either. We just saw you all up there, so we figure we don't need 2 search teams up that far, so we just kind of figure we'll come back down and find a different place in the grid, and then we just saw this as we were going by. So
Yeah, we just wanted to check in, make sure you have a radio and everything, because we radioed and you didn't respond, and we were told we were the only search crew in the area.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've got one, and she kind of holds it up, right? And she kind of pulls it up from her side. And, yep, right here. Sorry, I didn't know you were. We didn't get anything. I'm sorry about that. So, yeah. Well, anyhow, daylight's wasting.
Do they show anything of like any of the company that we know that's trying to purchase the area? Or like,
and some of them, they're like wearing outdoors gear, camo, stuff like that. Okay. Their ATVs are kind of stacked up with some bags and things like that, some ply gear.
What were your names again? I'm Special Agent in Charge Price.
Special Agent in Charge. Well, I'm Sarah. This is Carlos.
Sarah Carlos. Last names?
Well, Sarah Wynn. And then she kind of turns to let the other guy kind of talk. And he says, Ramirez.
And I go to give them both a firm handshake. And I try to frame it like, thank you for helping us. But really, I just want to get a closer look at all their gear and stuff.
Okay. Give
As
me a
Weaver's
search
in the
roll.
background going.
Give me a search roll. Are you trying to like do it in a way that they don't see you like looking at their
I don't
gear?
care if they see me eyeing them up.
Okay.
I'm trying to do the barest pretense of like we're on the same team.
I want to make sure we got this right. When you say looking at their gear, are you looking at what they have on their ATV or on their persons?
Persons first and then ATV. That all
persons doesn't require a roll. I can tell you.
Okay.
Simple enough. No problem. You both notice that they have guns on their sides. It's right there on their hips. It's also northern Arizona. Not an extraordinarily uncommon thing, but at the same time, but you see that. Their ATVs, I would need a search roll.
All right.
Just so the audience knows, we're having a furious conversation in chat about recognizing the name.
So I always forget. Does deltagreen go 0 to 99 or 1 to 100?
It is an intelligent game, so it goes 1 to 100. Yeah, mothership. Yeah, I said
I
it.
rolled a 100. 2 lollies, double lolly, double lolly.
That is a critical fail. So I'm going to play it this way. You shake their hands. That's fine. And then you kind of turn and you see like you see like a box, like tucked underneath what looks like some survival gear. And right as you're kind of peeking down to look, Carlos steps between you and it and says, can I help you with something else there, special agent in charge?
I just wanted to make sure that we're sending people out properly geared and equipped.
We ain't the one driving around in an SUV.
We got plenty of water in there.
Have you
Do you
looked
need
at
water?
yourself recently? And you look terrible, by the way.
I do,
You are, yeah. And the two of them, they look like they know what they're doing.
Took the sunglasses off and it's just white around the eyes.
Yeah. Sarah Wynn, you say? What were you doing last evening at the hospital?
I was visiting a friend.
Who was that friend that you were visiting?
What business is of it yours?
Well, I'm sure you heard, but there's a boy who went missing from the hospital that evening and you were seen near his room.
Oh, yeah, they asked me about that this morning.
Who'd you speak with?
Oh, Sheriff Gus.
Okay, and who was the friend that
the missing
you were...
boy's father corroborated my story and everything, so... Is there anything else you would like to do?
What was your story?
Oh, I was just visiting a friend of mine and asking the man if he knew where the vending machines were.
And again, who was the friend that you were visiting that evening?
Oh, let me see now. None of your business.
You weren't visiting that friend to take them home, were you?
Oh, no. Just checking in, just making sure they were all right, that's all. Now, this has been fun, but we're just going to keep going if that's all right. You guys got your little section over there. We'll find a different section. Plenty of desert for everyone to go search around, isn't there?
I don't see why we shouldn't pool our resources. You know, like you said, we could have been better equipped like yourselves. Why don't we work together on this?
No, I don't think that's a good idea.
Oh, really? Why not?
Well, have you looked at yourself recently? You would really just be dead weight.
Well, I think that's all the more reason for us to work together.
No, you see, that's us carrying you. That's not working together. Anyhow, special agent in charge. Wonderful title. We're going to get going now. And you see they start to climb on their ATVs at that point. As that's happening, you hear one of their walkies go off. And you just hear, and it says, any sound of them? And then she like quickly turns it off. And none of your walkies came on when that happened. Y'all have
That's why you didn't hear us earlier. You're on a different channel. What channel are you on?
You all have a great rest of your day. We'll see you back at base camp. Goodbye now. As they get their ATVs going.
I would like to. I would really like to be an asshole and shoot the tires, but I'm not going to do that. I would like to go back and grab one of our walkies and just try to start scanning channels to see if I can figure out what channel that voice might have been coming from if they talk again.
Yeah, that's what I would like to help with, please.
Sure.
Figure out what channel that was.
So the only way you would know if it was the right channel is if they were actively talking on it.
Yeah.
And they're not actively talking on it. So, but you can, over the course of time, continue to monitor it. That's fine. But that's an ongoing process. It's probably not something you're just going to immediately get. But you see, and then they start driving off at that point. Dust kicks up in the air. Some of it hits Price in the face. And you see the ATVs drive off, leaving you here in the afternoon, sun beating down, standing flipping through this walkie-talkie right next to this street sign.
Really? Special agent in charge? You choose to just let them fucking leave and they're the best chance that we have?
Best chance we have for what? We don't know anything about them. What you want me to do? You want me to pull a gun on them, shoot their tires out?
Like that's fucking stopped you before.
I only fire when fired upon, thank you very much.
Okay, nobody was firing when you shot Agent Carr. And then when we really have like a lead, because that was the guy, presumably, I presume, in the black car that she brought something to, and then she walked by his room. That was the only activity that we had nearby. And we're just gonna let them leave? And then they're not even on our right channel. They lied to our fucking faces that they're part of this search.
All right, Weaver. I know this isn't you talking. You're a little pissed off. That's fine. But if you keep coming at me like this, I'm going to get hot. And this is me giving you a courtesy right now.
Put a bullet in my head and fucking end it? You'd be doing me a favor, Vin. Okay? Like my life isn't already fucking ruined. And then she gets in the car and just fucking slams the door shut.
Jesus Christ. Join the club. Just keep scanning on the walkie.
Okay. I'll tell you what. Give me a luck test. You want 1 to 50, and I'll say the closer you are to 50, is the less amount of time it will take to get the match. So it's pass or fail, but it's 74. Also how quickly. 74. Okay. So I'll tell you that you're sitting here for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, scanning through, and it's just most of it's dead. And then at one point, as you're scanning through, you do, in fact, hear a very familiar sound suddenly, like, kick through. You hear this kind of staticky sort of wind starts coming through. It almost sounds like there's a moaning sound. You've heard this before. It's literally the exact same sound as the phone message that Sharon Delaney got on her phone from her daughter and one of the missing hikers. And that pops up as you're flipping through.
You all heard that, right?
Yeah. Okay. So someone else is clearly out here. Trying to do the same thing we are?
My radio to the same channel that Vin was just on and see if I hear the same thing.
Yeah, you'll catch the tail end of it, and it kind of harmonizes between the two ears for a moment and then dissipates.
Okay. So it's the channel, not the walkie.
Chopra, you're probably better with that kind of tech than I am. I think Vin would like to head back to the SUV and pull out whatever like maps we brought, laptop we brought. And now that we have a starting point of like the sign that we know like the hikers were following, I would like to just go through some of those pictures that are like next to the sign and see if we can like figure out a way to retrace the steps. Like if we can see like something in the background that kind of lines up over there to try and follow.
And that's what Chopper would have liked to have done this.
Well, I keep saying it first, so I get the credit for it.
Yeah, everyone gets to do like one thing. We don't all get to do like 4 things at once. So I want to. Okay. I haven't checked in with Inferno or Car yet, so I do want to see what they're up to as well. So I want to make one clarification. The sign that you saw in the photo was not he was carrying. Like he had it in his hands and he was like holding at it. And you saw it at like, I think it was one of the photos that was by what was referred to as like the gal pals or the 3 sisters. Like you saw him holding it.
Gotcha. Okay, my bad.
Here it's like up on the actual street, like a street post. So then Inferno and Car, all of this has been happening. I haven't heard from either of you. What have the two of you been doing in this time?
I'll be rummaging through the toolbox, see if I can get a better understanding of what the pills are, with the other devices I found in there.
Okay, how do you want to go about trying to figure out what the pills are?
I know one way.
Obviously consuming it.
Okay, that a boy.
That a boy.
That a boy. I'm so proud of you right now.
You asked long. He ate golden beetles before, like no question.
Yeah.
What campaign was that? Golden Beetles.
That's Impossible Landscapes.
Yeah.
Impossible Landscapes.
Yeah.
So good.
God
So
damn it,
good.
that was such a fun campaign. Okay. Give me a con times 5.
Okay, I have 65 con.
Okay.
Oh, that's a 92.
Okay. We'll say you pop it at the beginning of that fiasco. Okay. And you can see through the, maybe the door was left open or something like that. And you see the argument between Weaver and Price. You see Price confronting the people in the ATV. You see Chopra and Price fiddling with the radios. Then you get just really tired. Really tired. And you kind of like drift off a little bit. And then you're woken by the sound of Weaver slamming the car door shut. But you're still extraordinarily drowsy. And Weaver, when you look at him like you're in this irate state, you can just see one of his eyelids is just kind of like not going up anymore. And in front of you feel extraordinarily sleepy.
Oh, shit. Do you have heat stroke?
You put the sauce on first.
And I think that's when she like looks over and sees he has a pill bottle in his hand. Oh, fuck. Are you kidding me?
Oh damn! I was watching what y'all were. Well,
What's
that's one way to
doing?
figure out what's in the bottle.
Are you in the car now too? Okay.
Yeah.
you've been
So
Car in the
car was still in the vehicle, and was like at the ready to be backup. So she kind of had her hand on her firearm, thinking that perhaps we were going to draw weapons, and then they left, and so then she was like not going to jump out of the car, and then was not paying attention to what Inferno was doing behind her.
Okay. All right. So then, since that's all happened, and since Inferno's fallen asleep, Car and Weaver in the vehicle with Price and Chopra, back to you. What was it the two of you were looking to do? Like, what was it you were saying that you wanted to do?
Now that I realize it's a different sign, that plan is kind of defunct. But I think the core of
I
it
didn't
is
say it was a
still
different sign. I just said,
oh, okay.
It was
different
detached.
point in time.
You've never stolen
I
a
don't
street
know.
sign before? You?
No, I have, but normally people don't put it back up, especially when it's in the desert. So
We could
Yeah.
still follow it because, like, we do know that shit changes out here.
well, that's also what I was going to say, is that I think the core idea is sound, just going through those pictures and trying to see if there's anything in the background that still looks like it might line up.
Okay. I can tell you with no roll necessary, you don't recognize the horizon in the vast majority of the photos that were on the memory stick. There was like a twilight gloom to everything. It was a different time of day. It looks like the ones in the beginning you recognize because they had like the mazes, and then one of them had like the three big the stone blocks that basically look like women that were sitting down. There was the finger, which had like it basically looked like someone was flipping off a bird. All that kind of stuff you recognize, and that is not where you're at. But all the other things that you see, like towards the latter half, you don't, like, you look around and you're not seeing anything. No.
Well, you gave me trouble, so now I am going to steal the sign. I'm going to take it down and put it in the back of the car.
You do? Easily enough. You realize that it's bolted on the back, and you would need a specific size wrench.
Well, luckily for us, I've got an emergency toolkit, which has a $3 wrench that is... It requires a lot of cussing, but it will get the bolt loose. So I go ahead.
You take the sign down. No problem. There's just a empty rusted pole in the middle of the desert now. Chopra, what are you up to?
I was assisting with this, so nothing particularly, just gonna get back into the car and realizing this is why I am driving. Love is taking the fucking Quaaludes from the 70s or whatever.
Chopra, I can drive now.
No. No.
Right.
Does my drug history help me identify what the fuck he took?
No, I don't see. It's
Like,
nothing
look
that
at the
you.
I mean,
pills
it's
that they
definitely
have.
nothing you would
Quaaludes
have
or
taken.
like some.
Okay, nothing I would have taken as a pill popper.
Doesn't look it doesn't look familiar to you, and it's in like a yellowed. It's a yellowed
Oh, it's hilarious.
glass bottle.
Okay. Does it have any, like, if we pop a pill out, you know how pills usually have like numbers or something on them? Do they
Mhm.
have that?
Roll a luck test.
Sure. That's a fail. 91.
Good gosh.
Okay, I would say if it did, it's long since been like frictioned off, essentially.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, that kind of thing. You get the feeling these are very old pills. They are basically like white tablets. You do notice that there is like a curve of something in the center, whether it was a number or a letter, you're not sure, but you definitely tell that they're fairly old. There is the bottle itself it's definitely glass. It's got kind of like a metal top to it.
Okay.
And it opens fine, but the glass itself has yellowed over time. And there was a label, you're pretty sure, but it's kind of been scraped away a bit to the point where it's like no longer recognizable. There's like a little bit of white, a little bit of blue, but there's not enough really to go on. You would probably have to do like a chemical test of it.
Got it. Okay.
Taking a look at this, would there be any kind of rule that we could do? Because, like, obviously nowadays when we see pills, it's the orange bottle, it's the childproof top. Like, looking at the bottle itself, is there something we could roll? Even like a history or something, just to try to see like how old this
Does anyone
looks,
have? I can tell you it's old. It's definitely old. Like it's not anything from the last 10 years. And just the bottle that it's in with like the tin cover and like the glass, but like all of that suggests like not a recent type of packaging, right? Like the pharmaceutical companies have changed their packaging since then. So it's been a while. Unless somebody has actual science pharmacy, or she's not science pharmacy, but just pharmacy. If someone has pharmacy, they can try to rip a roll.
So someone does. But that particular someone is.
I mean, Inferno can roll it. Inferno, I'm happy to let you roll it. It's fine. You're very
Can you
sleepy.
figure out what he's drugged on right now?
Other than being extremely sleepy, I'm gonna say you have no effects just yet.
Okay.
There's a 20, so you know.
Okay, 36 over
Not quite, it's a
20.
fail.
Yeah, I would say you don't know for sure. You do know you're very tired. Let's just put it that way.
If I see my partner, Agent Inferno, in this state, I think I would possibly have a solution for him, but I would make sure that no one else is really watching. Like everyone's like done like fussing over him, and I would hand him another pill to take, which would be an upper, giving him some
makes
speed,
sense.
balance him out.
Oh yeah, for sure. I totally get that. Inferno, do you take that?
Sure, I already had one, but okay.
Does the body good?
You pop that, and I will say over the course of maybe the next 10 minutes, you do feel your heart race kick up significantly. Your hands start to shake, and you do feel more awake, but at the same time, it's like a distant kind of awake. It's like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you're doing an all-nighter, you're cramming for a test. Not that Long ever had to do this because he's so damn smart. But like the rest of us, it's kind of that feel. Like you're awake, but you're wired, but you can tell that it's masking this distant exhaustion. But you're okay again. You're okay. You're not going to fall asleep.
Just let me know if you need another one.
Yeah, I can feel and hear everything. I'm not sure if I need another.
Okay. Are we gonna keep searching here? Are we gonna move ourselves a little bit?
Yeah, do we want to search for... Actually, I'm to think of it. I grab the walkie and I go to channel 7.
Okay.
Ranger Sam, are you there?
Dad?
Sam?
Dad? Why are you calling me Sam? Why does it sound like you're in a sewer?
Ranger Sam, are you there?
I am not Ranger Sam. Dad, what? Are you all right? What's the matter?
Chris, I need you to get off the phone.
You called me, Dad.
I'm sorry, How are you doing, buddy?
No, I'm doing good. Yeah, I got I know you told me you didn't want me to do it, but like I got into the academy and everything, so I think I'm gonna do it. Mom says it's okay.
Yeah, she's always been supportive, hasn't she?
Yeah. I mean, she kind of had to counterbalance, you know?
Yeah. I'm only gonna be out of town for a little while longer. And then maybe I could come visit you.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Is this your new phone?
It's a work phone.
Okay. It's coming up all weird.
Yeah, you know what? I got something else coming up. I gotta go, Chris. I'll talk to you later, okay?
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, call me when you're back in town.
Yeah, okay. Chris, bye.
Bye. And then you change the channel. Go ahead and roll Santos.
I drop the
Helplessness.
walkie and head back to the car.
Okay. I pull up the gun and start shooting. Probably Melissa's character.
Rolling a lot of lollies tonight.
Oh, boy.
Unfortunately, it was on the wrong die, so it's a 90 over 40.
Okay, I take 1 point of sand loss, helplessness. Just like we were. It's the max. That's all it is.
Everyone's saying we're in a sewer. We're not in a sewer.
You get Ranger Sam?
He's busy. And I get in the car.
Okay.
All right.
Walkie is in the sand,
jeez.
if anyone wants to pick it up.
Yeah, Weaver goes out to get it.
Okay, fair enough.
She doesn't want to be in the car with me.
Yeah.
I open
Like,
the
you
door and
get
get
in,
in.
she gets
She
the
opens
fuck
the door
back
and gets
out.
Okay. So we'll presume everyone's back in the vehicle. We have both of your walkies. You haven't yet been able to glean into what channel the others were on as they drove away. At this point, the ATVs are long out of sight. It is later in the afternoon. You can see the sun has started to descend. It's not evening time. You still got you guys still got at least 3 hours probably of daylight. But you do know it took you about 2 hours to get out here. You could probably shave some time off of that since you know the way, but if you wait too long, you can try to be driving at night. So like there's some trade-offs there. So what are you guys up to? What's next?
Plans on staying out here in the area for the night.
Agreed.
So I'm curious if it's really like nothing out here, just plain barren land.
There's a rusted post right there where there used to be a street sign that says no trespassing, secret facility.
Right. So we're gonna
no,
trespass.
it's empty. Like if you want to search, you can roll search. You can roll another search if you like.
Yeah, I think while we have daylight, we would just try to do some search. But I agree that we're kind of wanting to be here at twilight and nighttime.
Okay.
It matches what's on the photos.
If you would like to roll a search, the two of you, or anybody else who would like to do another on foot, kind of just exploring the area, seeing what you can see. This takes time, so this isn't like an instant thing. This is literally like about an hour of your time, basically doing this. So if you want to do that, anyone can go right ahead.
Vin is going to take a break in the car and drink some Red Bull think some thoughts.
I failed.
Or success.
Inferno succeed. Anybody else doing this and succeed?
Lisa failed.
Success.
Okay, so same combo again. The two of you seem to be doing a good job finding things in the ground. Okay, so we'll start with Inferno. Inferno, you're looking around, and you hear the sounds of like this like annoying kind of flapping sound, and you notice like about 100 yards or so from you, you can see this Joshua tree, or a cactus, something like that. There's a tarp of some kind that's tangled up in it. And you can just see it's kind of flapping around really loudly, and the way the wind is gusting, it's kind of carrying that sound in your direction. Do you wish to investigate that?
Yeah, I'll go towards it and get the tarp down.
Okay. A few things you find. You notice that it apparently is this. It's a camo tarp. It's the type of thing that like a military like bivouac site or something like that might use to cover from like overhead surveillance type of thing. It's old though, like it is ratty and old. And you can see that it's got some holes in it here and there. It's dusty, and it's almost like pulling apart in certain places. You also notice that underneath it, also on like a lower branch of this cactus or this tree, you can see that there is a faded, flapping plastic bag. And when you pull the plastic bag off, it says Blockbuster Video on it, and this like faded view.
I remember those.
Says Inferno, but not long, asshole.
We just saw one of those a day or two ago.
I'll take the Blockbuster bag.
Okay.
Head back.
Okay. What is your search?
It's 74.
Okay. You do notice that there is there's some stains and such on this tarp, and none of it's recent, but you can tell like there are some blotches on it that aren't part of the camo pattern. And when you look at it, it's browned, so it almost fits in and blends in, but your sharp eye catches it. This is either like it kind of has that kind of crusty old blood look to it and feel to it. All right, Car, you're looking around, and as you do, you find again in what looks like a bit of debris. Most of it just dissolves in front of you. You find this big old panel again. Looks almost identical to the one you had before. Rusted. You can tell that there's like something on it, and you realize there's another faded handprint. It's in a different position, so it's not like the same thing, but the handprint's a little bit different. And so all of it basically looks the same. One thing you do notice with this one and with the other one is that there's these little, on the edges of them, there's like a lip. So you think they're almost like the way like a hardwood floor or something like that kind of interlocks. It's kind of like has this interlocking mechanism that they're supposed to layer on top. But
like a tongue and groove kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly.
So now that she sees the handprint, but the handprint is in a slightly different position, now she wants to like think back to like, okay, so the handprint that was on the other one, was it like upright? Was it 90 degrees? Like, how was it positioned? And so now she wants to
random angle, just a random angle. Yeah.
Okay. And this one now is still like,
yeah, these are big and heavy, by the way. Like they're like, it's a 4x3 giant panel. Like it's pretty big. So you're carrying it through, and like it's giving off rust into your hands as you do so. Okay. Do you have anything in like heavy machinery or anything in
That's a 10 base and heavy machinery.
You could roll a heavy machinery with plus 20, or if somebody else has heavy machinery, maybe, or something like that might be useful.
I do have a 30. If I ever get back there.
Mechanic at 40, heavy weapons at 50. And
Okay.
Electrician 40.
So yeah, so
You said
so see
electrician
Car.
40? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, and physics 40.
Okay.
So you see Carr putting this thing up on one side and just sort of like dragging it back to the group because she'd kind of gone off a little bit. Anybody wants to provide assistance, that would be much appreciated.
Can I don't know if I can help, but I can take a look.
I'll
You
say
can just look at it. I don't know what to make of it.
the three of you combined, as you're looking at this, carrying this, situating them, seeing whether they fit, etc. One of the things you'll notice, Chopra, is that these have like a slight curve to them. You would probably conclude that they are meant, like they're laid in a particular way. You think these might be like panels on a dish, like a large dish.
Like a SETI style dish.
Yeah.
Like a SETI style dish.
Yeah. And so that is what she'll opine out loud and say this is probably that.
Or a boat. That's
maybe.
correct.
And so
Sorry, Sadie.
buildings with dishes, was that what Carr saw when she was looking off in the distance, when she saw like a shimmering building?
You have seen a couple times now that kind of image and the silhouette of the hazy thing. But then when you saw the camera the hikers, you do notice that at one point there were pictures of a cave painting. It looked ancient, and it was like a cityscape, and had all those different figures, some of them lying down. There was buildings, but some of those buildings look very, very modern, like skyscrapers and apartment buildings. And one of them looked like a half moon with a little thing coming out of it, right? And it very much looked like it was a block with a half moon kicked off to the side, like a satellite, like a radar station or something like that.
And when Trevor was looking at the pictures in the car again, one of them had like a SETI looking dish in the background.
Is there a
multiple
number
times you've
on
seen
this one? Yeah.
I would also say on the satellite photos that or the aerial photos that you have of the site, there is also part of that. Could be. And while we're doing that, thank you to Trooper SJP for the raid. Thank you so very much. Hope you all had a great game tonight. We are playing Deltagreen. We're in the middle of a desert. They are investigating an old Majestic facility that may or may not have to do with aliens. I don't know. And Inferno has balanced himself out with some uppers and downers, so he's feeling pretty good right now. Feeling pretty good.
And we
Okay.
now have in the back of our SUV 2 rusted curved metal panels and a no trespassing sign.
We're gonna get so much money at the scrapyard. At least
You are.
I
$10.
mean,
At least.
Kingman's a site in limbo for this infrastructure bill. So I mean,
That's correct.
and they did try to do some development here before, and we're coming across all this ancient shit. Do you think maybe they like tried to do it and it for some reason didn't take, or is this the facility we're looking for? Like that something they tried to build and it didn't.
Well, if price is I almost said if price is right. if price is correct, it was a M12 facility from the previous operation that was exactly what we're looking at. So this aligns with the previous operation.
We got to set up camp in the area. Wait for something
Okay.
up here. We're in the right area.
Okay. So is that what you guys want to do? Want to set up camp for the night?
Yeah, if we could,
Yeah.
I'd like to try find somewhere like up on a ridge or something that gives us a better view.
You have pretty high survival, right? Like a 54 or something like that. What do you have?
Yeah, I'm 54 survival.
Okay. Yeah, no roll necessary. You can probably, despite your current emotional stress, are able to find a good spot somewhere up on one of these ridges where you can set up, find a place to park the vehicle where it's not going to get, it's not going to get hit too bad by any of the winds, and you still have decent visibility at least until night falls. And you're able to do all of this before night falls. And so what I'll say is, it's like, if this is what you all are doing, staying up your camp, this will take essentially the rest of the light. You do have maybe a scant 30 minutes or so before the sun completely goes down. Beautiful sunset, ribbons of pink and purple and a little bit of orange and such here and there. It's still hot. It's actually, for a while, just before sunset, it even gets hotter than it was earlier in the day. But once the sun actually does begin to fade, some of the temperature comes down. Not by much. It's still very, very hot out here. You all are well provisioned though this time, so I'm not making you do all the rolls and such that you had to before. Okay, so we'll say sun has gone down. Got your camp set up, tents, etc. What's your plan?
Basically,
Take some watches.
go ahead, Inferno.
One should call Sam and let him know that we're spending the night out here, so they shouldn't worry that we're not going back or checking
Okay.
in or anything.
I don't think you need to call him. It'll be fine.
I mean, it won't take more than a second, and she'll switch to 7.
Okay.
I won't try to stop you again.
Okay,
He's
so
just trying to protect your sanity.
There's no reason that.
no, totally.
It's none of
Totally.
you have used your words. There's no reason that Chopper thinks is anything except a basic thing that you do.
I appreciate
okay.
calling us out for not using our words.
So you
If I
hear.
lose sanity, it's your fault.
Oh, no,
Is
no.
what I'm getting at.
You're going to. You hear. Does Davy? How is it pronounced? Is it Davy?
Oh, Davy.
Davy, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
like Davy.
Davy. Okay, so you hear Davy? Is that you? Where are you calling from? And you recognize Liam's voice.
Sam?
No, it sounds very much like Liam. It's broken up a bit. He's like, Sam? Who's Sam?
Sorry, Major Sam? Major Sam Wilson.
Major Sam? No, it's Liam.
No, it's not.
Hang on, let me yep, it's me. Yeah, it's still me. Yep. But what's going on? Are you okay? Have you been drinking? I mean, it's okay if you have. I'm just
No,
like,
no.
Where are you? You sound. You said it sounds terrible.
Why are you on this channel?
It's my phone.
I called you on your phone.
We agree.
Okay.
You okay?
What does it say on your phone?
Well, it ain't your number.
What number is it?
1971974. That doesn't even sound like a phone number.
Liam, I'm sorry. I must have called you by accident. I'm still on the job site. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. You doing okay?
No, I'm okay. I'm okay. Are you okay? is everything good at home?
Yeah, some asshole stiffed me though today. He comes in and he kind of lists like this like repair that he had to do, and he comes back to pick his bike up, and he's just no. So yeah, that's gonna be fun.
You
Sorting
gotta
that
stop
out
working
tomorrow.
with the pagans. You know, I keep telling you, you gotta stop working with the pagans.
But I mean, you take the work where you can take it.
Okay. All right.
So you're gonna be back soon, or?
Yeah, just a couple more days.
Couple more days, okay.
Still at the job site. They've got this. It's even more like confidentiality than it usually is. So I've got to go.
That's fine. I know the drill.
Yeah.
You sure you're okay? You don't sound too good.
No, I'm okay. I just called you by accident. I've been getting a lot of sleep.
No, I mean your voice. Are you sick?
No, I'm not sick. Why?
Your throat sounds all like you got like a sore throat. Like a bad
just
one.
like a bad connection?
It might just be a bad connection. You know, that kind of thing.
Okay. Hey, give me that number again.
Yeah, 1971974. No area code, or maybe one of those isn't. I don't think 197 is an area code. So
no, that's you know what? I'm calling you from like the middle of nowhere. It's probably just like a weird call, or you know what? I'm going to text you from my phone when I get back into town. I'll see you soon.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Bye. Go ahead and roll Sam for helplessness.
Okay.
All right. While you're doing that, I think thank you the dinner and a game for the raid. It's 2 in a row. Hope you had a great night.
Another raid. Thank you.
Y'all are so kind.
Success 52 under 59.
Keeping it together. Yep, you're good. Okay.
New character with 59 sand. Look at you. Still a
Gotta
baby in the deltagreen world.
You gotta go the long way.
Yeah,
gotta
no,
make power your
I
dump stat so you have no sanity from the start of the game. That's how you do it. That's how long rolls. Okay. What do we do? So what do we do? You just set up watches, things like that?
I'm gonna come back and actually say to them, something was wrong with this radio. It called my boyfriend.
Yeah, I told you you didn't need to call Sam. It's fine. He'll figure it out.
What? What does this have to do with calling Sam?
Obviously, our navigation system is on the fritz often.
Well,
There's
what
something...
do you mean, obviously? Has this happened to anyone else?
Yup.
Yeah.
Who the hell when did this happen, and who did you call? I call somebody like from my hometown who is in my real life, not my life in the program.
Okay, this I don't know how much experience you have with the green. This isn't my first gig. The general idea is that you keep your personal details to yourself. So be very careful with what you tell us right now.
Which is why it really bothers me that somebody called someone I had no intention of calling.
No, I'm right there with you. And it's weird because it went to cell phones from a fucking walkie-talkie.
Yeah, mine too.
I don't have answers for you.
1974 was apparently the number that came up.
Echo.
Wasn't that
1974? Not what is that? Because we're looking for something in the 70s. Is that maybe what it is?
I think wasn't there also the Echo 19, Echo 7? There was some.
Yeah.
I've been trying to find it in my
Echo
notes.
19, Echo 7, that was on there. So there's a few different reasons.
That's the Echo 19, Echo 7 team compromised. Installation confirmed, entity confirmed, reinforcements requested, rally at Point Alpha. It's weird. We know there's something with fucking waves of bullshit. I don't know. And this isn't what I study. I used to work at a fucking grocery store. And she's pissed off and she's just kind of like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how it called my ex-boyfriend. I don't know how the fuck it wound up calling my aunt who lives in an entirely
this is not
different
share time. We don't tell our personal details
I'm not
here.
giving actual personal details, Vin.
Telling
But
me that
this
you
is-
got an aunt, a boyfriend, and you worked in a grocery store. It doesn't take much more to start putting stuff together.
I mean, I heard them call her Lisa. Like at this point, this isn't like
that you don't need to.
operational secrecy. This is just I heard her on the phone, grab the walkie. It worked just fine for me. It's just what it is. Like,
Listen, just because we're out in the desert doesn't mean we need to start singing Kumbaya and start telling each other all our feelings. All right, this is a job. We got to be professional. I'm gonna take fucking first watch. You all can cry it out if you want. And I'm just gonna walk a bit away into the darkness and try to avoid the situation.
I've got some beans open for you.
we do need food.
Why exactly are we camping out here tonight?
Well, because the pictures that the hikers took happened at dusk.
They're all at twilight hour. We wanted to be here at that time.
Okay, and
I
are
mean-
we? But are we even at a spot where they were at? How can we tell? It doesn't have any fucking coordinates for us to be where they're at.
I think we're
there's
close.
Anything to do
And
with
maybe we
the
fucked
shop.
up. Maybe we're supposed to walk through those fucking mazes again, and that's how we get there.
Yeah,
You know?
maybe.
This is
We've-
bullshit. This is what it is.
We have found a sign that was in one of their pictures, and we found 2 pieces of metal that look like the dishes that we've seen
But
in
it's not lining up. It's different. In the picture they're holding it, who's to say someone came here and fixed it? It's almost like this is a different point of time.
maybe, but I think you're right. Like you mentioned waves, and we're trying to figure out what's been going on here, but this place has been potentially, I don't know, at a time or something, but waves were making calls on a walkie-talkie or a cell call. That's waves of some sort. Chopra, you were listening to audio files. Audio, it's waves. It's the same thing that we're picking up on the walkies is the thing that you had from the other stuff. It seems
Yeah.
like we should spend a night out here and see what we find.
No, I agree. I mean, we're out here anyway. It doesn't.
I feel like we fucked up because we had fucking Sarah Wynn was right there. And
That's not the only lead. That's just one lead that didn't pan out the way it should have. The way it could have.
a lead I can hold in my hand. It's not like it's a fucking airwave that I can't even touch. It was a person who we have visual confirmation that she walked by this door, that she was there, and then suddenly after she does that, he's immediately missing.
So if we see her again, we'll know. We didn't know who she was this time.
I can always count on Vin to shoot someone, and this is the one time he doesn't do it.
Does he shoot a lot of people? That's
And
I mean,
she just kind of
like
looks
yesterday.
at Agent Carth. Yeah.
I haven't been paired in a cell before, but you know what? That was an option. We to tackle him and interrogate him, but maybe that isn't necessarily what we're trying to necessarily get to the bottom of. So we're here. Every time we've been looking for something, we find something. So let's keep on.
it was really messed up that it made that call, but it was nice to hear home.
I don't
That
think
was
it's
nice.
nice. I'm terrified. How the fuck did
It
they
shouldn't
know
have
that
happened. It shouldn't have happened.
How do they
but-
know that these people are important to us? Like, it didn't get mixed
Yeah.
up. I didn't get Vin's, whoever he talked to. I didn't get your person, whoever you talked to. I got people who meant shit to me.
Yeah, I
But
know.
It didn't.
No, it
Okay,
shouldn't have
but
happened. It shouldn't
if
have
we
happened.
think about actual things that we know, didn't one of the kids' parents get a call that wasn't from her phone, but they got a voicemail from her? Is that not one of the early things that we saw, that we heard about? That there was a voicemail from one of the kids?
Yeah, you just heard that on the agent. I think it was Agent Price, as he was flipping through the channels, just heard the message once more. So it was Sharon Delaney, who was the mother of Anne Delaney. And a couple days after they were missing, Sharon Delaney got a voicemail from Anne while Anne was missing, and I played it through you. And that's where Chopra did some sort of magic, and it was
And got the background.
Echo 1, Echo 19, Echo 7, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, us making these calls and them going is exactly part of what we're here to look
what are we
into
looking
more.
for tonight? What are we keeping an eye out for?
I know that you all don't, and I can appreciate that, but I'm going to walk around and see what the desert wants to share with me. Worked yesterday. I'm going to try it again.
All right.
You know how it is. We don't know what we're looking for. We're not necessarily finding answers.
We shouldn't split up, I don't think.
No.
All right. I want to check in to see what everyone's doing throughout the night. Night has fallen. Stars are up. Some distant clouds that suggest a sandstorm might kind of come through here, but it seems a ways away. Inferno, what are you doing tonight?
I'm going to be listening to the environment, maybe for wildlife, maybe the wind.
Okay. All right. You can give me an alertness. Car, what are you doing for tonight?
I would say that she is kind of, as she had done previously, kind of moving a little bit away, kind of closing her eyes, kind of speaking the names of the folks that we haven't found so far, and just kind of seeing what she can hear, see, all that.
Give me a search test. Chopra, what are you doing tonight?
Just sitting around keeping an eye on Car, because I think we were absolutely right. Like, we shouldn't be splitting up. So if Car is threatening to go out of sight, she'll get up and start falling. But she's giving it the distance she's clearly looking for.
Okay. That's fine. So no roll necessary. Easy enough to follow her. Price, what are you doing tonight?
Price would want to be a bit away from the group. Not walking around, but just like where he decides to camp. Like he would want to, be a bit further away in case he's been told several times that the ambush was not real, but there's something in the back of his head that just keeps him on edge. So he doesn't want to be like clumped together. So he would take watch like normal, where he's just like hanging out watching the campsite.
Sure.
But then otherwise he would just want to be camped in, like nestled against a rock or something like that.
Okay. That's fine. You can give me an alertness. And then Weaver, what'd you be doing?
So as night begins to fall and she finally starts to chill out, she will briefly approach Vin and just give a really awkward apology of, sorry, I've been a bitch. And she won't give you an opportunity to say anything else before she promptly walks away. And then
Vin
she's gonna
would pretend to be asleep anyways.
That's fine. That's probably best for both of them. And then she kind of wants to fuck around and do almost like EVPs, like almost like she's ghost hunting, but to see if she's catching anything else weird with like recording on her phone, and then like listening, and then see if anything like pops up.
Okay. Okay. Give me a luck test.
Okay. 46 success.
Okay, fantastic. All right, Inferno, how did you do with your
Right
test?
on the money with the 75.
Okay. So as you're listening, you hear the sounds of flapping wings. Multiple times throughout the night, you hear this, catches your attention. And once or twice, you see like eyes kind of flickering or the fire flickering like off these eyes that are perched atop of like a nearby ridge. You can barely see it. Your eyes adjust to the darkness. Maybe a distant lightning in this storm rolling over Kingman. You see this bird. You saw the same bird over top of Jeremy Benton's hospital window. I mean, it's been a while. You were in a state. Might have been the same bird you saw in Wilmington. You're not really sure, but it's there. It's not like sort of hunting you, but you see at a certain point it kind of swoops over. You hear the wings a little bit. It's faint, like almost imperceptible. Like it's like stealthily flying through the night, and then it like settles in for a bit. Anytime you make a motion towards it, you see it lifts off, and you're going to lose it in the darkness. But this happens maybe a half a dozen times throughout the night.
I'll just do my best to keep my eyes on it the entire time until I eventually become drowsy.
Okay. The uppers fade, and then whatever it is you took kind of kicks in. Actually, they're probably both through your system at this point, and you just sort of fall asleep. Car, how did you do?
I failed 79 over 53.
Your trek around the camp, as maybe you guys are perched atop this ridge that's isolated, almost like a mini hill in the midst of a long stretch of flatlands. And you keep your head thinking about these missing hikers. You keep your head thinking about this missing facility.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, you notice there is a white handprint on one of the stones. It's bigger than what you saw on the sheets. You go over and you kind of inspect it, take a look at it. It's crude. It's faded. You're not positive it's a handprint, but you think it is. There's only one. There's only in this one place. You search around the area for any other signs of anything. It's not a child size. It's much bigger. It could be a man. It could be a woman. You're not sure. But that's the only thing you find in the entire time around. Chopra, you would find it as well as you kind of pass by. But I'll tell you, the two of you, the more and more you search, you can continue to search, you can continue to search, you continue to search, you find nothing else in that area. Price, how did you do with yours?
I passed 35 under 90.
What were you looking for exactly? What were you listening for?
Making sure we wouldn't be ambushed. Like just people, essentially.
Okay, people. You doze off at one point, and you wake up to the sounds of gunfire. And your eyes open, you hear like automatic gunfire. And whatever sort of, auto response Price might have, you look and you see no signs of it anywhere. Like all of your agents are either sleeping or maybe returned to camp or on the verge of going to sleep, something like that. And you realize like there's a little bit of drool on the side of your mouth. Think you were sleeping. Maybe it was a dream. Maybe it wasn't. But you don't see any signs. Listen. Nothing. Just a little faint wind.
I don't hear anything. Did it sound close?
The more and more you try to focus on it and think about it, the less and less clear it becomes. It's like you're like a dream that you're trying to remember after waking up.
I fumble through my jacket and grab something out of an inner pocket, a little baggie, and I just tap a little something on my hand there, and I'm staying up the rest of the night.
Okay. And then Weaver, you were doing your EVP thing. You're recording,
Yes.
you're recording, you're recording. You play back, and you get at a certain point. It's mostly just wind and crunching of your, your boots and stuff on the dirt. Maybe the sound of like one of your fellow agents talking. And you play back every so often. One time, you hear the same sound that you heard when you were kind of overhearing the walkie-talkie earlier in the day. Same sound you heard when you listened to Sharon Delaney's voicemail. That sound comes through. It's faint. It's like you're barely recording it, but you can still hear it. That's it. That's all you get. We'll say eventually, with the exception of Price, who did a couple lines of coke, all of you fall asleep. Price keeps watch. Car. You wake up. You are in the desert. You see the familiar ridges, the horizon of rock, sand, some Joshua trees here and there scattered about. And as you're looking, you realize it's not nighttime anymore. It's not daytime. It's this in-between twilight, this purple gray. And you see, as you're looking around on this empty horizon, flickering into existence in front of you, is the figure that you've seen on the images and the figure that you saw yourself yesterday. This man in a loincloth with a cow skull for a head. And he just flickers right in front of you like he's digitizing. He's like maybe 2-3 feet in front of you. And you see that he's holding something in his hands. He's kind of offering it out to you. It is a rugged clay cup. And you can see, do you take it from him?
Yeah, Car would definitely reach towards his outstretched arms.
You take it, and you realize there's some sort of sloshy liquid inside of it.
Car will drink it.
You drink it, and it's this bitter taste. You do it in these sips. You don't do it all at once. You sip, you sip, you sip. It's like some earthy, bitter, distant cactus-flavored tea. And as you drink, the sky seems to just sort of roll forward in time. You just watched as these clouds and the starlight that you can see in between the clouds just rolls and rolls and rolls faster and faster and faster, like someone is fast forwarding a cassette tape. And then that figure disappears, flickers out of existence in front of you. And then off in the distance, you see a very gloomy horizon. And you see a city has materialized. Part ancient. You can see adobe-like huts and part new buildings that would look a little commonplace in any city. And a big satellite dish. And then you wake up. Weaver. You have a very weird dream. It's as if you are seeing through like a fishbowl lens, where everything's not quite right. The edges are just these blurry messes, like everything is distorted in some strange way. And the dream is very much like a montage of these little clips that move one into the other. People, some of you have met, some of you have heard about. The first one, you are in the waiting room at the hospital, and you can see Juanita Hernandez, mother to Emily Hernandez, is clinging to those dog ID tags that you found on the body yesterday. And you can see that her husband, Emilio, is cradling her. And you see that Sheriff Gus is standing right next to them. And you see he takes off his hat and he mumbles something completely incoherent. And it's just like a mixture of these discordant frequencies, static. And then you see the mother reacts terribly. After Gus leaves, the sound kind of kicks in for a moment, and you hear Emilio whisper to Juanita, "It's time to go home." And then you are immediately whooshed away. And you see yourself staring at Mrs. Warrant. And that's how we're calling her. She is standing on her front porch. She's got these gnarled hands on her hips and these fists. Probably a shape of hand that's very painful to her. And at the base of the porch, you can see an Inferno. He is writhing and he is choking and he is coughing. And as you watch him, he literally is just turning into this dried husk. His skin dries out and pulls apart. His hair becomes stringy and long until eventually he is just this mound of dust on the ground. And when you look at her, just for a moment before a gust comes by and kind of scatters him, he looks almost identical in shape and position. This is the body you found in the desert yesterday. And that's when Mrs. Warrant looks at you and she says, "It's time for you to go home." And then you're whooshed out of that again. This time you see a young Ronnie Lightside, maybe in his 20s, still has his titular tropical shirts. He's standing in the desert, and you can see there is a large econo van. Actually, he's probably a little older than his 20s. Probably might be his 30s or so. And you see there's this large econo van in the middle of nowhere in the desert. You don't see a street nearby. And you see he's unloading a suitcase from the back of this van. And he sets it on the ground off to the side. And then you see where he sets it down, there are two large plastic red gasoline gallon tanks that he picks up and proceeds to dump on the van and in the van. And then you see him pull out a match, strike it, and throw it onto the van. And it goes whoosh up into this huge torch. And then he mutters to himself, "Well, time to go home, kid." Next, as you whoosh away, you see Jamie and you see Cody. And Cody is standing next to Jamie's bed, and she looks very sick. I'm sorry. Let me do that again. Jamie, your daughter, and Cody, they're standing next to your bed, and you see yourself laying in the bed. You look very sickly. Looks like you're suffering from withdrawal symptoms. This is maybe a few years ago. You're not sure. You see Cody put an arm around Jamie, who's weeping. And then you hear Cody say, "Let's go home." The next image is unclear but Jamie's words, Cody's words kind of echo. And they're seemingly disembodied. And then they repeat. And then they get a little bit louder. And then they get more guttural. And then you realize they're coming from right behind you immediately. And when you turn around, you find that you are in the desert again. And there is a man with a cow's skull for a head who is facing you. And he points across to the desert. And when your head turns, you can see there is a distant city. Materializes out of the shimmering heat on the horizon. You see a mix of buildings, ancient and modern. You stir a little bit, you feel this intense heat, something washes over you, a feeling that you are familiar with from the times in which you had your substance abuse issues. But there it is nonetheless, shimmering. What do you do?
She's gonna start walking towards it.
Okay. Start walking Skull Cow, you don't hear the sounds of his voice. If that was his voice, you don't hear the sounds of his footsteps. He doesn't seem to be flanking you. You continue to walk.
She'll pause and hold a hand out for him to see if he'll join her.
Nothing grabs your hand. Do you look back?
I don't think she wants to lose sight of the city, so no.
Okay. You hold your hand out for a bit.
Yeah.
Nothing
and
grabs
when he doesn't, she'll drop it to her side and keep trudging forward.
And as you start moving forward and forward and forward, you're getting closer. The buildings are getting bigger and bigger. You even start to see some movement. And then you realize everything starts to slowly get darker and darker and darker and darker each step until maybe you hurry up, you pick up your pace. Darker and darker until everything goes completely black. You can't see the city. You hear the last few steps, and then you wake up. Give me a sand test.
Uh, 11, crit success.
1 point. You feel this distinct sense of loss. You feel something very special. Just, well, it was there and then it wasn't. You hear your phone buzz. Like a bzz, bzz.
So pick it up.
You see you have a voicemail from Cody.
She'll take a shuddering breath as she pulls it up and she opens it and plays the voicemail.
And it's currently, it is sunrise. Car, you're awake. Weaver, you're awake. Anybody else is welcome. Price, you've been up all night. Inferno and Troper, you're welcome to be awake, but it's sunrise. It's still kind of dark, but the sun is certainly coming up to the east. And Weaver, as you listen, you hear, hey Lisa, hey, listen, your Aunt Vivian, she died last night. They found her down the street from her house. She was at a playground. Jesus Christ, Gene. She was in the sandbox. They're investigating. No, it doesn't. Yeah, no one knows why she was there. Anyhow, I'm really sorry. I've got Jamie here, so don't worry about that. I'll take care of her. And when are you coming home? And then that's the end of the message.
And all you guys hear is she takes a great shuddering breath, and then you know how like when people are about to cry, they have kind of like that frog sound in their throat, and she does like a brief kind of like cry out. I'm gonna go take a piss, and then she starts walking away.
All of you are there. All of you can be awake at this point. You see Weaver leaves the camp in distress.
And you just hear, fuck, you kidding me? Fuck.
And then
looks at Car. Do you know what happened?
And Kara kind of shakes her head, and Kara knew from the kind of beginning introduction that like Price and Inferno have worked with her before. So she's kind of looking at them, kind of as like they've kind of worked together. If someone may be best for a comforting, seeing if either of them are paying attention at all to what just happened.
Do you
Bryce
guys
is very
know-
actively not paying attention.
I could see for those on the podcast, Stephen was looking everywhere but forward.
Someone should go check on her, right? I mean,
I'll wait for her to come back. She's fine.
I don't think she's fine.
Something happened. I was asleep all night.
She walked away sobbing and she was just cursing.
She said she had to piss.
Definitely
It doesn't take two
happened.
people to do that. She's fine.
Okay, and Chipper's gonna be really sick of trying to explain to these two and walk towards Weaver.
Okay. What do you say when you approach Weaver then?
Hey, are you done? Pissing?
Clearly not pissing. I'll be fine. It's
I'm gonna walk up to her and put a hand on her shoulder, like, you want to talk about it?
do I want to talk about it? Probably not. No. Like my aunt was found dead in a sandbox last night. And then
Holy shit.
and I know we're not supposed to talk about real life and shit, but like I just had weird dreams all night and I kept hearing people telling me that it's time to go home. And when are you coming home? It's time to go home. And then like Woody called me to tell me that my aunt died, and then he also asked me when am I coming home? And that fucking kid, like he had the same question. Like he said he heard like it's time to come home. I don't know. And I get it. You get activated and you're supposed to figure this shit out. I'm just a normal person. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I've been mediocre my entire life. I was a fucking drug addict. I was a piece of shit. Then I had a kid. And I tried to take my life together. And then suddenly I'm integrated into deltagreen and my life's hell. It's shit again. It's fucked up. And it's never gonna get better. And she's crying. She's crying. I'm sorry. We just need to get this done so I can go home because I need to deal with my aunt's affairs and find out if she's actually dead or if this is just some bullshit to fuck with me. And that's what I'm gonna tell myself for now, is this is just some bullshit to fuck with me. It's not real. It's just some bullshit to fuck with me.
This is just some bullshit to fuck with you.
It's just some bullshit.
This is just some bullshit to fuck with you.
But I saw the cowhead guy in my dream.
In your dreams?
Mm-hmm. I almost got to the city, but then it got really dark.
Okay.
But yeah.
Just
I'm gonna take a real piss now, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, I'll be over here.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Back at the camp, Inferno, Price, Carr, keeping your distance from Weaver and Chopra. Carr, you also had a strange dream. I also need you to roll sand tests. Yours is not as intense, but nonetheless.
Wow, that is a 9 under 48. 0,
You're okay.
0, 9.
You're okay. Yeah, no sand loss then. Okay. All right. Do you say anything?
Yeah, but for sure. Like, so they, Chopra goes off to Weaver, and Carr just sort of looks at both of them a little bit. And then she will say, I will say for me that I'm not sure about both of you, but I definitely had a dream, and she'll, kind of explain the dream and kind of how she had to drink something to be able to then see. She saw the guy, she took the drink, she saw the city. Don't know what to make of that, but that is what it is. Did either of you see anything when you slept?
It's a quiet night for me. Just a bird while I was awake.
Oh, I didn't sleep last night. I crack open another Red Bull, offer it to her.
I'm good for now, but that sounds great. Bird, like the bird at the hospital? Like the bird in Phoenix?
Yeah, very similar. Same one I saw surveillance over Ben's house. Ben's room.
Damn bird.
Price, you see anything? You're up all night.
I heard gunshots, but it was distant, and who knows? I might have been imagining things. I offer him a very warm Red Bull as well.
I'll take it.
All right.
Stream the city. It's a facility? Here?
Yeah, it's the same. The mix of the modern looking buildings, but things that are rusted and things that are very old. Just the same.
Yeah, it had almost the feel, and I know some of the younger people here might not get this reference, of when film would get double exposure. And,
what's film? You mean like IMAX?
If you don't know what film is, you can get the fuck out of here. But like old camera
Price
film.
Is so old. Price would know.
Price is only 45.
He was born in 1945. That was an excellent line. I can't remember.
Chat.
Yes. Yeah.
Being trolled by chat as well as the rest of the cast.
That means he's about 70, which I think tracks
That
way
makes
more.
a lot more sense.
Right? Thank you. We're all in agreement. Okay.
Okay, so it's like a double exposure.
It's like it was like basically they were like overlapping on one another. Like there didn't seem to be clear boundaries between the two. The other thing I would say is any of you can roll like an N times 5 right now. I said any of the three of you. I'm sorry. So Chopra and Weaver, you guys were not in this conversation. So the other three, though.
Got it.
That is a pass with a 49 under 65.
Okay.
22 crit success.
Okay.
Amazing.
That's your second
So-
crit success tonight.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Success.
That's a couple crits tonight. Okay, so Bryce, I would say as you hear Carr's story and the dream that she had, you try to interpret it, maybe something about you need to imbibe something. And Inferno, as you hear the description, you immediately, for some reason, and Inferno can figure it out, you make the connection. It sounds like peyote.
Oh, what now?
Jesus Christ. You're sweet summer child. Jesus, you live in Arizona. Weren't you born in Arizona?
Yeah.
I feel like that's not a generational thing.
I know
That shouldn't be a generational thing.
Trolling you or not?
He's not. He's definitely not.
He's
Long as not trolling.
He's not.
That's Long doesn't usually
This
troll.
is the same part of Long that like hasn't seen the most popular films. Like he missed a couple things when he was growing up.
It's basically the thing. Well, paleo is a cactus, but like if you mill it down, you grind it down, usually put it in tea, like you drink it. It's like hallucinogenic effects. Basically, you suffer, like your mind opens, and it's one of those types of things. I think that's is it mescaline? Is that what's in it? I think it's mescaline. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen would know.
Quick
just
Google
Steven.
told me that is what it
Only
is.
it's
Steven would know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be driving to Arizona soon. We'll meet up.
Oh, boy. Are you really?
Well, now I am.
You can't, because you can't say that.
You can't bait
You
us
can't
like
just
that.
throw that out like a joke. Like, that's not cool. Okay. So that's what I would say. The two of you putting your heads together. Bryce, you would recognize that the act of that cow-headed figure giving or something was significant. And Inferno, you might be able to, maybe from your reading, maybe from your study, maybe just from going through some files. Maybe you read it in one of the case files that was part of your dossier, because you have like some history, and you've read that all these people who come out here, like, and you've heard it from Ranger Sam, you've read it about it here and there. When they come out and they follow this path, like, all of them are like doing LSD and shit. Like, it's not sober people. It's people who have imbibed something. So maybe that's where you heard it from.
Everyone's getting high out here. You take something, Car, last night.
I did not, but it sounds like if we're going to spend more time out here and we are wanting to find what we're wanting to find, perhaps we might need to secure ourselves some.
Focus on that today.
Okay. So we'll say everyone eventually returns back to the camp. Weaver composes herself as much as you feel like Agent Weaver would. The sun is up a little bit further now. What do you all want to do?
We're doing drugs today.
More so than yesterday?
Carl will explain to Weaver and Chopra who weren't part of the conversation. Had a vision, perhaps peyote might be a key.
Weaver, as they're saying this, maybe it dawns on you, maybe it doesn't. You had a feeling when you were staring at that city, this woozy, kind of out-of-body feeling, like during your harder days of drug use. Kind of tracks.
Fuck. What? Now Delta Green's gonna take my sobriety too?
That's where everyone goes like, what's Delta Green?
Yeah, but
'Cause none of you know that term.
whatever term we use.
The program. You'd probably say the program.
Yes.
Program.
Would I recognize peyote out in the wild at all?
It's not something you would get out in the wild. It's something you would need to procure, because it would need to be like processed and stuff. So you probably wouldn't just pick a.
Got it.
pick a
Okay,
cactus
we
leaf or
could
anything.
just. Got
I don't
it.
think it grows in
We
Arizona.
do need
anyways.
someone to
I don't think so
actually
either.
keep an eye
Not
on people.
naturally.
If we're all gonna imbibe, then at least one person should not keep an eye on us. So
Okay, we don't need the responsible sitter. All right, we're all adults in Delta Green.
We're not partying with drugs. We're trying to find a lost facility.
That was Steven talking. I'm sorry.
I know.
So, plan for today. Are we continuing to look around out here? Are we heading back into town, trying to find whoever might help us procure things that we might want to procure?
Well, I tell you what, if there's one place you know that you can easily find those sorts of substances, it would be Vegas.
Yeah, isn't that where that author guy is that we want to interview too?
Navarro.
Yeah, he was seen in that picture with. And she just kind of like looks at Vin, and as she trails off.
Road trip?
We're in that direction anyways.
That is true. You actually are a little further north. You'd have to cut west. You could get there. You could also go back to Kingman. It would probably be like an extra hour to go back. And take a shower.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
You don't have to. I'm just saying you could. Okay.
Got all sorts of smudge marks on my hand and my face. I don't know where they came from.
Is that the plan? We're going to go to Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
I
clean
think
the site.
All right.
All right, let's
So
go shower, get more gas, and then go to Vegas.
Do you want to
So-
check in if we're going back to see if there's any messages from the Hollow Project store? Since we are going back.
Okay. I mean, you have
that's
your
right, because Chopra was waiting, yeah.
So
you have your cell phone on you, so it's not like you wouldn't have your cell phone with you.
just need to get service.
You just need to get service, yeah. So, which is spotty. Like, it's not like you're not getting any. It just comes and goes. So we'll say you drive back because it's light and because you drove it yesterday. We'll say the drive back's not too bad. Instead of it being 2 hours, it's probably more like an hour. Get back at around the same time when a very scant few people seem to be leaving for searching. Like, there's only a handful of people. When you first arrived here a few days ago, there were dozens, and now there's like maybe 15. And you can give over whatever you need to give over to Ranger Wilson, and we'll say that you all are able to.
Before we leave the area, I would like to talk to old Ranger there.
Yeah, what can I do for you?
You're
Oh,
pretty well
whew.
acquainted with all the.
Oh boy, you gotta acquaint yourself with a bar of soap there, my man.
I'm headed to the shower now. Well, you're pretty well acquainted with the.
Yeah, a little something.
You always interrupt people?
Don't worry, I don't got any arrest power.
Do you know the search party volunteers fairly well?
I know the ones that come out here all the time. Sure, yeah.
Younger white lady and then Hispanic
Whoa,
man.
Come on now.
Sarah Wynn
Let's-
and Carlos something, right? Carlos?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Carlos Ramirez. Sure, I know two of them. Yeah. They're they're good folk.
They've been coming through here. They've been helping out a lot.
Oh yeah, they've been here. Yeah, I think they came over with what's his name? Scroll. Was it? I think they came over here with Dr. Marshall. Yeah.
It's a weird sound
Oh.
you make when you're thinking. You say scroll as you're trying to remember a name?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want me to contact Sheriff Gus and say that the FBI special agent in charge has some cocaine dribbling down one of his nostrils?
I guarantee that there is no more cocaine left.
Uh-huh. Okay. Anyhow, Sarah and Carlos are good folk. Yeah, they're hard work, man. They know they're active. I think they might have been military or something. They don't really talk about it too much. They seem pretty, I kind of let them go do their thing. They seem like they're equipped.
They tell you where they would be yesterday?
Oh, no, they went out on some ATVs and such. I think they were heading off, northeast over by the reservation line. I think they were headed over towards the Shrooms area. Yeah.
Which would be about where we met
No.
them, like along that. No? Okay.
No. You guys were way north.
Okay. I appreciate that. Just we ran into them, wanted to make sure that you could vouch for them.
Oh yeah, they're great. They're great. Yeah, they're really helping everyone out. Absolutely. Shame they haven't found nothing, but no one really has.
And you mean by helping everyone out, like they've been telling people where to go, that kind of thing?
Oh yeah, they just help folks out, like folks who maybe aren't as familiar with kind of going out and roughing in the wild and such, and help them coordinate the search and that kind of thing. Yeah.
All right. I appreciate that. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, no problem. Bar of soap,
Will do.
maybe two.
I'm gonna leave now.
Okay, I think that's best.
End conversation.
Okay.
I imagine like Rice kept like halfway turning each time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hey, Mr. Special Agent in charge. Can
I don't
them
turn around,
walkies?
but I do stop.
Can I
Yeah.
get them walkies back? There, y'all kept them yesterday. You're supposed to kind of check them back in when you're not searching. They're
Yep.
pretty expensive gear, Dr. Marshall brought them over special.
Just
Agent
requisition
Chopra, you
him.
still have the walkie?
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh,
I toss it to him.
Whoa! Hey, hang on! Careful with this. This ain't. I don't even know how expensive these things are. All right. So he takes the 2 and he puts them back.
Been having any issues on Channel 7?
No issues. No occasional static here or there, but no, everything's working out clear. These things. These things are just top of the line.
The one that Weaver had, actually, she got from like the sheriff's office so that we could communicate with them. So she would actually keep hers and say, "No, I got mine directly from him, and I'm holding on to it for our team to have contact."
Yeah, well, they bring them back and they charge them up and such. So
They gave me a charger and everything.
Are you trying to lie?
No, I'm pretty sure I got one, right? Or no?
Charger? No, you just got the thing. Got the walkie-talkie. Okay. Well, all right. I guess if the sheriff wants you to have it, you can keep it, but it ain't sheriff's property, though. Just so you know, as Dr. Marshall.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. No, I promise I'll take good care of it.
Okay.
Dr. Marshall gave the walkies for the search?
What's that? Well, yeah. I think I could have sworn I said that already, but yeah, he.
No, you did. I just wanted to make sure I heard you right.
Yeah, he's kind of coordinating all the extra technology, and so I don't really understand much of it myself. And he kind of looks over at Price. Us old guys, just Luddites, Anyhow, I remember days in which you didn't have to learn anything about Windows something 2K or something. I don't know. Anyhow,
you don't know how to open a window?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's the 9 to 5 or it's the 9 to 8 or it's the 2000 or the XP. That doesn't even make sense after a certain point.
XP was actually garbage. Anyways, thank you so much. I'm heading into town, so I'll take this straight back in.
Okay. Everyone keeps rudely dismissing me, but maybe they should listen a little bit more carefully to some of the things I'm saying, because that's fine. You all go ahead, FBI agents. And you can see his tone has changed as he feels a little bit put off.
Oh, Ranger Sam. Ranger Sam is so nice.
Weaver clearly looks like she's been crying and she needs a shower. So.
Okay. So you go back to your hotels, shower up, then what?
I'd really like to go speak with Dr. Marshall. If we have a little bit of time before we head to Vegas.
You all just tell me what you want to do.
I would shower up and then just gear up for the road trip.
So we did already speak with him a little bit, if you guys recall. He's the guy...
we knew this stuff.
Yeah, so he's the guy who's been directing people of where to go in the search grids. Kind of having...
He very clearly volunteered that this tech was his.
Yeah.
Like that was you knew that from the jump.
I think the so he wasn't with March, was he? He was with something else. But,
no, he wasn't.
So is this a name that we could just kind of do some research on, like who this individual is, like who he's employed by, like try to find some information about him?
Absolutely, if you wanted to.
I'd like to do that.
That would be better, I think.
Sure. Are you just like doing some kind of basic Google searching and such, or are you doing anything more involved than that? Just knowing that if it's more involved, it takes time.
Chopper's gonna start with the basic search, and if anything he comes up, maybe then we'll spend some time, but at this point it's just kind of a cursory research that she is doing. I don't like her.
Okay. So what what you're able to get from him or get about him is that he is a researcher with Northern Arizona University, but he also serves on the board of this environmental protection group that serves the Southwest area. I'm trying to find the name, and I can't remember where I put the name, unfortunately. But he basically serves on the board of that and is like a private like sort of study of like geography and topography in the area, and kind of makes recommendations to various groups about environmental protection. And he's well published. You can see he has multiple doctorates, and he seems to be has a very lengthy publication history in the academic field. And Northern Arizona is Flagstaff, so it's a little ways east of here.
Chopra was the one who like looked in, and she realized that there was with the stuff with the what's her name, the politician lady.
Congresswoman Karras, yeah.
Yes, Congresswoman Karras. She was the one who found that she was on a board that was kind of halting the March systems from being able to purchase and form this area. Does this conservation group have any overlap with that?
No, I mean that's a congressional subcommittee that you're talking about. She's on a congressional subcommittee, which is for intelligence and defense.
Got it. Okay.
I'm going to say that Carr is going to, because Carr is an FBI agent, so I think Carr would see if she can, do a search in, her work databases. We're back, we're getting cleaned up, so she would have access to, kind of work laptop kind of a thing, to see what she can dig up on, kind of cross-referencing what Chopra brings up, so the name or kind of the organization or those kinds of things.
Remotely access the FBI databases through a public wireless at a hotel in Flag.
I would.
I don't know what Windows is, but I know that's a bad idea.
I feel like it might be one of those things. She might have an air card. It might be a laptop with an air card that she may have issued. So she wouldn't be accessing airport Wi-Fi or hotel Wi-Fi. She might have a laptop that's got one of those bulky plug it in air card kind of things. Because I think given the time frame that we're in, 2014, I feel like that was a thing then.
It was. I can confirm that. It was expensive as fuck though. But yeah.
Okay. So I guess, you can give me a computers test. What's your computers at?
My computer, I have zilch for computer science, but I've got 50% for criminology or 60 for bureaucracy. So if any of that, because it's not computer science in the sense of working on a computer. It's just more of okay. That's my argument. For a skill.
Well, criminology, you would be so. I'll tell you this: if you look him up, he has no record. He has no criminal record. Okay. So it doesn't appear that he has any sort of criminal record that you can glean.
Okay. Would I be able to see if there's any that environmental group being on any, type of list for maybe ecoterrorism or any of those kinds of,
sure.
Incidents connected to that group?
I want to be very fair here. So you guys were saying you want to go to Vegas. And so now we're doing sort of background checks on people, which is an instant. That takes time. So are you wanting to do, what are you prioritizing? Are you prioritizing getting together and getting to Vegas? Or are you prioritizing doing this deep dive into the potential background?
Would you want to split up, Carr?
I think it's probably a good idea if we stay together. So if we're going to go to Vegas, we can do any of that after we get back from Vegas.
It's your home office, right? That's Carr's...
Yes. Yeah. My train knows that.
Better. My train is asking.
Yeah. Yes. Good memory. Yes. So yeah, I think the priority would be, and I think there's been a clear opinion put forth of going to Vegas. So I think it'd sort of be like, I look up his name, he doesn't have a record. Okay, if we didn't find anything. I'm envisioning Price is sitting in the car honking the horn because he's ready to go and waiting.
Got that dad energy.
He was packed up an hour ago.
Okay. Was Inferno doing anything on the quick hit back into Kingman before leaving?
It was just surveying town, see if there's unmarked black SUVs driving around.
Give me a alertness test. Actually, no. What is your alertness?
75.
Yeah, there are. You do, in fact, notice that there are two of interest to you. One of which seems to be near the sheriff's office, unmarked. Okay. The other seems to be, well, it's in the parking lot of your hotel.
I'd have a stroll by. Take a look inside.
Okay. Thick, dark, tinted windows. Give me a search test. Because this is a little bit like you're doing this in the open, broad daylight. So I'm going to want to
94, I failed.
Okay. You can make out only that there are some heavy-duty cases in the back. The specifics of which you're unsure. When you try to take a peek into the front seat, you hear the sounds of like a motorcycle, vroom, and you look over and you can see that there's a group of people nearby kind of watching you. Their heads sort of tilted, and you are being observed. They don't seem to care, but they see you. And so at this point, maybe it's like you step away or can't quite say anything. But yeah. No one inside.
I would test my luck to see if it opens at all.
Yeah, it does not. I'm not rolling luck on that. They
all
locked
right.
their door. This isn't 1955 Kansas.
Does he set off the car alarm?
Oh no!
The bomb goes off. It was a bomb. It was a bomb.
Oh man!
The mob is coming after you.
I'll set up shop while everyone's getting ready and see if anyone walks to their car.
Okay. All right. A little something over here. Okay. All right. So has everyone done their tasks?
Yeah.
Yeah, all Weaver did was check our room to make sure there wasn't any like tampering in our room.
Okay. How involved do you want your search to be?
Honestly, she's not super involved with it. It's pretty cursory.
Okay. What's your search roll? What's your search test then? What's your search
39.
stat? Okay. No, everything looks fine. Okay. So after a little bit of time, anybody else have any business before you get up and leave? No? Okay. So we'll say you get in your car. Okay. We'll say eventually you get in your cars. Do you take both or just one?
Probably both. It's a long trip. Want to stretch out.
Okay. Do you make any stops along the way?
I
Okay.
would need to restock on some energy drinks.
All right. So we'll say you all get in your cars, get in your vehicles, you're clean, you've introduced yourselves to a bar of soap and a shampoo bottle. You drive away. Inferno, no one ever came to open the SUV before you left. And we're going to end on you all getting on the highway, heading northwest towards Vegas. We will pick up in Vegas next time when we play in a couple weeks. All right.
Nice.
That's it for now.
It's so good to be back to Delta Green. Thank you, Jeff. Great session.
Yes, thank you.
Agreed.
Such a good session.
Sorry, Ashley.
Ashley, you do an
I
awesome
love this
Lisa.
Your roleplay
Lisa
is
losing
just
her mind.
through the roof. So good.
Yeah, that was
I
awesome.
love when new characters like lose their shit.
I like it when your characters
Playing the
get
right game.
depressed.
Not depressed, mad. You're mad.
There's some real pun opportunity with the program being the reason you lose your sobriety, sending you back into a program.
That was my first thought. I'm like, no, don't make that joke. Don't make that joke.
I feel like my favorite though is Price is Right, and that came out a couple of times.
That's
I
good.
mean, he is. He's always right.
As I
We
said
should,
in chat, it hurts on two levels: the corniness and admitting that Price is right about something.
So good.
Next time we do a Delta Green campaign, we should do the 90s, and you can learn about the difference between the program and the Outlaws, the Schism, all that kind of stuff. You can actually
That would be
learn
cool.
about that.
Jeff,
yeah.
Long would be so lost if we were doing the 90s.
Is it'd be like a completely different country and language to some people.
It might as well be like
Hey,
the future 400
we were
years.
born in the 90s. We're technically 90 kids.
Yeah. What
Born
year?
in 99 doesn't count.
Yeah.
92, thank you very much.
92. Wow. Wow. You could be Vincent Price's granddaughter.
He's 45.
Well, he was 47 when Weaver was born, so. Or Ashley.
He probably
Or
has gone
Ashley.
up a year.
Okay. All right. Let's do some close plugs. We'll get on out of here. We're going to start, as we always do, with Stephen shutting his mouth and Maitre taking the floor to tell us about where we can find her on the internet. Go ahead, Maitre. Take it over.
I'm Mighty Plays Games on YouTube, and apparently I haven't heard that joke in long enough that I'm restarting losing my shit all over again. And it, but Mighty Plays Games on YouTube, if you want to check me out.
Fantastic. And Steven, buddy, what are you up to these days? What's going on, man?
Hey, I've got a new RPG that just came out called Huckleberry. It's a Weird West game. It's really awesome. Action horror. It's actually getting pretty good reviews, too. Yeah, Jeff has a copy, but he didn't actually bring it to show on webcam like I did. But Jeff is doing me a huge favor, and he's running it tomorrow. It will be the world premiere of Huckleberry on Twitch. So that's super fucking exciting. And all these lovely people will be here to play it. So you better make sure that you clear your schedule for the afternoon and show up and cheer them on, because it's going to be amazing.
Yep. I am very much prepared.
Oh, I gotta sound check my character.
You're going to do fine. This is a very easy game to run.
Gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I'm very excited. I'm gonna kill everyone's characters. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, right? Because I can kill them
I'm
pretty
prepared.
easy.
I'm prepared to die.
No, we all are gonna live forever. It's gonna be great. It's
I designed the game for me to run, and I'm a very lazy GM. So all you got to do is show up, and then it runs itself.
You've seen the notes I made for your scenario. Would you call me a lazy GM?
No. I was joking with Leah, my
goodness.
wife, earlier about like some of the questions you were asking. I'm like, Jeff likes to have subtext, and I'm just happy to have text. Like, I just need the text.
Yeah, I know, it's terrible. I go the opposite a lot with prep. Too much prep sometimes.
It shows, because this was a great session.
I think it's mostly the stream thing that has affected my prep, because I feel like it's a lot harder to be like, hey, everybody time out for 5 minutes while I look this up. Like when you're on stream, you know, like you got to like be ready to go. So
That's
otherwise it's just blah. And if you just like improv it all the time, it gets very samey after a while, I think. If you just like rely on improv, like you dip into like your usuals. And so you kind of got to vary it up a bit. So anyhow, but that's tomorrow. So yeah, in our usual Call of Cthulhu time, we're going to be playing. We're all going to be there. Even Steven's going to be there, even though he'll be behind the scenes, lurking as a specter.
Stevens, it continues.
Judging us. Okay, after that, Monday, we should be back with some Alien as we are continuing our Cinders of Heaven campaign. We had a hell of an ending last time where I'm not going to say who, someone died, and it was somebody else's fault. So if you didn't watch the last episode, you should watch the last episode. It was pretty intense. And then Tuesday, Steven, what are we doing, man?
we're playing Star Trek Adventures, second edition. I hit my microphone there. Brand new edition just came out, and it's pretty cool. They streamlined a lot of things. It should be a lot of fun. We're going to be feeling like a next gen era. So if you're a Star Trek fan, come join us.
Very excited. Very excited. And then Thursday next week, get more Simba Room. And next Friday, introduced in a new game, as Aaron gets back into the GM seat. We just finished up Warhammer 40K. So we're going to be starting a new game for the next few months. We're going to be playing some Dragonbane from Free League. So come check out some little lighter fantasy fare as we switch over from our hardcore grimdark 40K universe to a little bit lighter. And that's it. But we'll catch you all later. Thanks to everybody for hanging out. Melissa, do you have the rates? Do you have all the rates? You ready to go? I know Lost Caravan RPG rated there towards the end.
Yeah, so before that, it was Trooper SJP and the Dinner and a Game.
Awesome. Thank you so much, all three. Make sure you're following those channels as well if you haven't already. Yes, there, Steven. I'm
sorry. Ignore me.
Okay. All right. He's drinking peyote or something. Have a great rest of your night. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see y'all later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.